Warriors Orochi, Koei Tecmo's Musou crossover series that combines the cast of Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, and various other Koei franchises. Currently, the last game in the franchise at the time of this recording, Warriors Orochi 4, left off with a roster of about 177 characters. And while there are some people who don't think another Orochi game will come out, I thought it'd be a fun idea to make a video to speculate how many characters could be in a possible Warriors Orochi 5. So how do the rosters of the Orochi games work? Well, there's a few factions, which are essentially categories for organizing the characters. You have the three kingdoms from Dynasty Warriors, Wei, Wu, and Chu. Then there's Simiyi's Kingdom of Jin, which rose from the ashes of Wei. Then there's the other characters of Dynasty Warriors, which are ones who aren't affiliated with any kingdom, like the traitor Dong Zhuo, the noble family of the Yuans, like Yuan Shao, or Zhang Jiao and his cult of Yellow Turbans. Then we have the Samurai Warriors characters, which are categorized by game appearance. Like all the characters that were introduced in Samurai Warriors 2, the Extreme Legends expansion, and the Empires game are all in the Samurai Warriors 2 section. Then we have the Orochi section, which is where characters made just for the Orochi series, and the crossover characters like Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden or the various Dead or Alive characters are categorized in. So now that we've established how we're adding characters, what characters are we adding from what games? Well, we're going faction by faction, of course, but I am looking at everything I can. And I mean everything. So to mention what games we're looking at beforehand, we have Dynasty Warriors 9, Samurai Warriors 5, and the missing characters from Warriors Orochi 3, of course. And yes, I know the way those first two games handle gameplay and characters is a bit different than the standard Warriors Orochi, but I personally don't care. But we also have Dynasty Warriors Strike Force 2, or as it's actually called because it didn't release over here, Shin Sangoku Musou Multi-Raid 2, Samurai Warriors Spirit of Sanada, and Warriors All-Stars. And I think that's everything I need to say before talking about the characters, so let's start. Also, side note, I haven't gotten around to playing any of these games, so feel free to correct me if I get something wrong or miss anything. Starting off with the characters that missed out on 4 from Warriors Orochi 3, we have the first Koei character now from Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors, Ayane from the Dead or Alive series, who uses a Kodachi. Side note, I'll be referring to the series as DOA from this point onward. Next we have Nemiya, coming from the Zil-Ol series. It's apparently meant to stand for Zillion of Wills. His weapon of choice is a lance. Moving on to the characters that got added from updates from Warriors Orochi 3, we have Rachel from the Ninja Gaiden series, using a hammer and a machine gun. Talk about overkill. Next we have Momiji, also from the Ninja Gaiden series. She uses the Nakatana and a bow for her moveset. For a second DOA character we have Kasumi, and I'm assuming her weapon is the same triple blade Ayane uses, but if it isn't, feel free to correct me. And finally we have Sturkenberg Kranich. That is a weird name. From the Atelier series. Specifically from the game Atelier Meru, The Apprentice of Arland. I probably got that wrong. Which makes 6 characters missing from Warriors Orochi 4. Now this will be where I move on to Dynasty Warriors 9, but I would get a lot of comments saying I didn't include this character if I failed to mention Sophitia from the Soul Calibur series was also in Orochi 3. I'm not counting her for the overall total of characters because she's not owned by Koei, but I do want to do a bad thing and save myself comments talking about her for the algorithm. Okay, let's move on to Dynasty Warriors 9 now. So starting off with Dynasty Warriors 9, let's first do Wei. The first Wei officer we have is Cao Shu, Cao Cao's nephew, using the Blade, I have no idea how the frick you pronounce that. Then we have Man Chong, who doesn't seem to have any relations. He wields the ballistic spear weapon. And the last new Wei officer we have is Shun Yo, who is Shun Yu's second cousin nephew. Okay. His weapon is the steel whip sword. Moving on to Wu, we have probably one of its oldest officers, Chen Pu, wielding the double pike. Next we have Xu Sheng using the double star. And those are the only 2 for Wu. Next for Shu, we have Zhou Shang, defecting from the Yellow Turbans and wielding the Great Sickle, which, fun fact, is actually playable in Warriors All-Stars, a standard combo game instead of what Dynasty Warriors 9 is, so he's probably got the biggest chance to be in Warriors Orochi 5. Then we have the DLC character Xiahou Ji, wielding a sword and shield like Adara Shinsai. Now for Jin, we have Shin Shan Ying, who uses the Broad Axe. And that's it for Jin, that was quick. Then for the other characters, we have the DLC characters Dong Bai, Dong Zhuo's granddaughter, wielding a flail, Hua Shong, another Dong Zhuo officer who uses a club, and finally for this game we have Yuan Chao's half-brother, Yuan Shu, using a rapier. And with no characters added into Empires, that's 11 characters that we would get from Dynasty Warriors 9, so it's time to move on again. So now we're on Samurai Warriors 5, and since this game has quite a few clone movesets, I'm going to mention characters by which moveset they share, and then move on to a different moveset. We good? Alright. So starting off with the Spear moveset, we have Toshimitsu Sato, a retainer of Mitsuhide Akechi, and Dosan Sato. For the Knuckles moveset, we have Mitsuki, the daughter of Nobuyuki Oda, we'll get to him later, and Yasuke, a foreign page who served Nobunaga. Now for the Naginata moveset, we have Senna, the niece of Yoshimoto Imagawa, Teramoto Mori, the grandson of Motonari Mori, and Fujihide Mitsubushi, a guardian of the shogun Yoshiaki Ashikaga. Next we have the Omiyari moveset with Motonobu Okabe, an Imagawa retainer, and Motohiro Kikuwa, the second son of Motonari Mori. And I think that's all the new characters that share weapons, so moving on to the characters that probably share weapons with the returning characters, you have Kazuyuji Nakamura, a general of Hideyoshi, wielding a hand cannon. Then we have Shikanosuke Yamanaka, an officer of Amago, using twin katanas. Then we have Sandayu Momochi, whose weapon is a Kusarigama. For the katana moveset, we have Nobuyuki Oda, the younger brother of Nobunaga Oda. Told you we'd get to him later. Next up is Yoshitatsu Sato, bringing the hammer down. Wielding a bow is Yoshikage Asakura, the 11th and last leader of his clan. And finally, we have Yoshiaki Ashikaga, the 15th and last shogun of the Muromachi Bakufu, who uses standard sword. Wow, that was a lot of characters. Overall, we had 16 characters with 10 different movesets, not counting which of these characters share movesets with returners. I think it's about time we moved on to the next game. Now for Strike Force 2, we start off with Yang Yu, the Hegemon King of Western Chu, whatever that is. If anyone can let me know about this stuff in Strike Force 2, feel free to leave a comment. As for his weapon, he uses twin Daos. Then we have King Mu, the 5th ruler within the Zhou dynasty. He wields 2 triangular blades. Next up is Beauty Yu, Zhang Yu's lover who fights with the large hoop weapon, or the large flywheel, I have no idea which, the wiki says both. Then there's Zi Wang Mu. Shi Wang Mu, I don't know, Google Translate doesn't help with this. With her alternate personality, Wang Xuan or Huang Hua, I don't know, who's another mythological character like Orochi or Fuji in Nuwa. Her name is often translated as Queen Mother of the West, for whatever that's worth. The weapon she wields is a crystal orb, and while yes, this character might not be playable to my knowledge at least, I'm still going to mention Shi Huangdi, who apparently founded the very first unified empire of China. He uses magic in his normal old man form, and a Jian magic, whatever Ji is, in another form. And since Sanzong is already playable in Warriors Orochi 4, we're done with Strike Force 2, which ends off this game with 5 characters. 4 if you don't count Shi Huang. So now we have only 2 games left to look at, so let's continue with Spirit of Sanada. Spirit of Sanada, the game based specifically on one clan, but it does still add non-Sanada clan characters, as well as child, young, and older adult versions of a few characters, so let's see what we got. The first character we have is Masayuki Sanada, the head of the clan during the late Sengoku period, and he has young and older adult versions of himself. His weapon of choice is a Bardiche with a banner on it. Next is Cha-Cha, concubine of Hideyoshi Toyotomi, who has a child and young version of herself as well, and her weapon is a Kanzashi. Then we have Sasuke, I don't know, a ninja trained by Hattori Hanzo, who wields a pair of arm blades. Then we have Katsuyori Takada, successor for the Takada clan, who wields a simple spear. And last we have Hidetada Tokugawa, the son of Ieyasu, and he uses a simple sword. He also has a young and an adult version. We also have alternate versions of Yukimori Sanada, Ieyasu Tokugawa, and Nobuyuki Sanada, which means 5 new characters with a few versions of some characters. I'm not sure how different they all are, but it's time to move on to the final game. Warriors All-Stars, the game that tried to mash together many Koei franchises other than just Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, and kind of failed judging by those reviews.
Warriors All-Stars released in 2017 and was meant to be a celebration game for Omega Force's 20th anniversary. I think that's fitting, as this game sucks just like a lot of modern Omega Force games do.
But nevertheless, there's still characters in there that could be used for Warriors Orochi 5, so let's take a look-see. Starting off the series Tokiden, we have Oka, who uses a longsword, Horo, who wields a rifle, and Tokitsugu, whose weapon of choice is also a rifle. Okay. Next, getting back to the Atelier series, we have Sophie Neuenmuller. The series has a lot of weird names, huh? Her main weapon is a Wanderer's Staff, and Pleshita. Her weapon going off the wiki is called Moon Calling. Not sure what that is, but okay. Can you tell I have no experience with any of these series other than the Warriors games? Then we have a franchise with only one character, Apuna, whose series is named after him. His weapon is called an Energy Bonbon. Now we have an unlocalized series whose title has been translated to Haruka Beyond the Stream of Time. Its two characters are Hajime Arima, who uses the Japanese sword, and then there's Darius, who wields the Sword King. And there's a series with only one character, William Adams from Neo, using a katana. Then moving on to the DOA characters who were made for this game, where Rose is first up, who doesn't have a weapon. I mean, the wiki says her weapon is Systemia Martial Arts, but that's not a weapon. Next is Honoka, who doesn't use a weapon as well. Her fighting style in the wiki is listed as Honoka Fu. Okay. Then for the Deception series, there's Millennia, who uses training traps, and also Legrina, wields Father's traps. I'm guessing there's context for that in the story of her game. Then for the two Knights of Azure characters, we have our niece using a demon longsword and hammer, and Christophorus, whatever, wielding an organum, which the wiki also calls the devil's musical instrument. Our next two characters are also the only ones to represent their series. So first up we have Noble Nyago from Samurai Cats, who wields the musket as well as his claws. And Rio from, well, Rio, I don't know if there's any special name for the series. And she uses various gambling stuff like cards and dice for attacks. And the final three are our characters made for Warriors All-Stars. So first off we have Tamaki using Shining Mirrors, Chigi wielding Moonlight Spears, and finally Setsuna, who uses a Divine Blade. And that's it, ending off Warriors All-Stars with 20 characters. Holy cow, I'm done. No more characters and no more games to cover. So now that we've counted all the characters from the games, let's recap and then mash them all together. So for Warriors Orochi 3, we have 6, 7 if you count Sophia, which I personally don't, 11 for Dynasty Warriors 9, 16 for Samurai Warriors 5, and 10 movesets, with some share between characters. 4 from Warriors Strike Force 2, 5 if you count Shuriguandi, and also 5 in Spirit of Sanada. Again, not sure how different the age variations are, so if anyone can let me know, please do. And Warriors All-Stars ends it off with most from one game, 20. So if we do the math, that makes 62. And Warriors Orochi 4 had 177 characters, so add the 62 to that and we have 239 characters. Holy gosh, I'm finally done with this. As I said in the beginning, I just wanted to see how many characters could be in a possible Warriors Orochi 5. Even though it might not happen, I wanted to make something to see how well it would age, if it did. I don't know what else to say, so goodbye, have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.